What's up, chicken butts? Hey, it's Amanda here from Off Grid Main Attraction, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I make my pasta fagioli with sausage. So I love comfort food, like I said. I love soup because it's easy, it's affordable, and it's a one-pot meal. And besides that, it tastes great. So I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I make my soup today, and hopefully you guys will get in the kitchen and make it as well. So let's get started and see just how easy this is. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to need is 3 stalks of celery, 2 carrots, about 4 cloves of garlic, and 1 yellow cooking onion. And I'm just going to go ahead and start dicing these all up, and I'm going to go ahead and put the celery, carrot, and onion all together, and then I'm going to leave my garlic separate. But I will show you guys what it looks like when it's all chopped up. Okay, so here are all of our veggies that are chopped up, and I minced the garlic. It's right in the middle. And in the meantime, I went ahead and I browned up a pound of sausage in a stock pot. Now, when you see all those brown bits that are left in that stock pot after you take out your cooked sausage, leave those in there because they definitely will add flavor to your soup. So here is the sausage, and this is 1 pound of just regular breakfast style sausage. You could totally use Italian sausage if you prefer, and it might be a little bit more traditional, but I like the flavor of just the regular roll that you would get by the breakfast meat in the grocery store. That's the one that I use. So after you take out your meat, like I said, leave all those brown bits in there, and then we're going to add our veggies along with some olive oil. So I'm going to use about a tablespoon or so of olive oil, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan, and then we're going to add all of our veggies except for the garlic. So we're going to put these all in at once, and then we're going to give it a stir, and we're going to cook these until they're softened for about 5 minutes or so. So we'll be back. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes, and now we're going to go ahead and add our minced garlic to this, and we're going to stir it around and cook it just until it's fragrant, about 30 seconds or so. And now we can go ahead and return our sausage to the pot. I love the smell of garlic. It smells so good. All right, so back into the pot goes the sausage. And just give that a quick mix together here. And now it's going to be time to add some seasoning and some herbs. So we're going to need about 3 or 4 sprigs of some fresh thyme and about 2 sprigs of fresh rosemary. And then we're also going to need 1 bay leaf. Now, here's a really quick tip. If you guys don't want to go out to the store and spend a bunch of money on a bunch of different herbs when you need just a little bit, go ahead and find the poultry blend because it comes with sage, thyme, and rosemary, and it's all in one package, so that way you don't have to go out and buy each one individually. So we're going to go ahead and add all of this to the pot with the stems and all. Don't need to chop it off. And then we're going to also add 2 cups of water. And we're going to add 4 cups or 32 ounces of chicken stock. And this smells so good so far. And then we're going to just add a little bit of salt and pepper right now to taste. And I always like to use kosher salt for everything unless it's a specific recipe. And in baking, I use regular table iodized salt. But whenever it comes to cooking, I like to use the kosher salt. So it looks like a lot, but it's really not. And then some fresh ground black pepper. Just going to add a little bit for now. We can always add a little bit more later. But this is what it looks like so far. And then all we're going to do is put this over a simmering heat until it comes up to a boil. And we will see you back in a little bit. Let's cover this up and we'll be back. Okay, so now that I can tell that my soup is simmering, it's a little bit over a simmer, which is just fine. I'm going to take off that lid now, and I'm going to turn it down just a little bit, And then we're going to add our pasta. Now I use ditalini pasta, which looks like this, and I'm using a cup of it. And we're gonna go ahead and add that to the pot right now. And we're gonna let that cook however long your package says, and I believe mine says about 10 minutes or so. So we're gonna just stir that in and let that cook up. And then once that's done cooking, we will at that point take out our bay leaf and our thyme leaf stems and our rosemary stems. And that is it, guys. It is going to be just that easy. Now, after you take out your bay leaf, your rosemary, and your thyme, at that point, if you would like to add anything else, like cannellini beans, which are white kidney beans, those are also very traditional with this soup, and that's just fine, but I don't really like them that much. So I choose not to add them, but definitely feel free if you like. But when you're using any kind of canned bean, just make sure that you rinse it off really quick before you add it in. And you don't want it to simmer that long, or else it'll kind of break down and become mushy on you. So that's why you want to add them at the last second. And because they're already cooked, they don't need to heat up for very long. So just the temperature of the soup will be enough to heat it up. And also, if you wanted to, you could add some maybe chopped up diced tomatoes in a can, but I just like this just like it is. And suggestions for serving: I like to serve it with just like a regular kind of crusty bread or a roll, and you could have that with some olive oil to dip it in, or just some butter, and that is plenty of a meal, enough for us. And if you want to get fancy, and sometimes I do, it just depends on what I'm feeling, but you could always add, when your soup is in the bowl and it's getting ready to be served, just add some fresh grated cheese on top, like some Parmigiano or something along those lines. You could add a little bit on top to give it that little bit of extra flavor. And of course, season it with salt and pepper to taste, because you never want your food to be under seasoned. So definitely check that out before you serve it. But that is it. And I hope that you guys like this as much as we do. And I hope that you make it. And please let me know if you tried it out and if you like it. And if you're making this when you're going camping, you could definitely chop up your veggies at home ahead of time. Bring them in a baggie or a container with you in your cooler. You can brown up your sausage ahead of time at home, and then you could just add everything together last minute. All you're going to need is those herbs, the water, and the chicken stock. And if you're also, just cooking with a propane stove, you could totally make this as well, doing the same kind of method and just bringing everything with you. And I hope that you guys like this. So I don't know what I'm going to make next. I'm making stuff all the time. So just stay tuned for our next recipe and enjoy. Bon appetit!